Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you and welcome to the Friday chat video, although it's not on a Friday this time because I sort of run out of time. My name is Nick, by the way, I'm sure you knew that. It's been done on a Saturday because I sort of run out of time. Now I've come out a little bit earlier, but it being Saturday I'm presuming that filming is going to be a bit tougher because there's going to be a lot of dog walkers about, but I can't see any at the moment, which is quite interesting. So I'm not early, but I'm a little bit early. Now, on Monday at work, hope you're well by the way, on Monday at work I've got a mental health chat I've got to do regarding my move of departments, which I don't want to do. I made a bit of a mistake, or it got rescheduled. I thought it was last week and I'm getting all prepared for that. But I think the extra week has done me proud. So now, yeah, I just got to do it Monday. I think it's about 1:45. It's going to last about an hour. I just try to discuss what your mental health triggers are, whether the moves are good for you. And it's a lot less stress, the role I'm going to do, well, hopefully going to get permanently moved to, that's checkout work, where I get to talk to people and it's the same rate of pay. So that makes sense to me, doesn't it? Because I'm not doing supermarket work for a career, although it's a good career if you want to work your way up. So I'm not looking at management or anything like that. I'm just looking at a bit of extra money for as little stress as possible. So when I get home, I can do like the YouTube sort of stuff, because that's my main concern really, and get as much time as I possibly can on it. Now, because my hours are all over the place, because they're just fitting me in where they can, because it's a temporary move at the moment, it's making it very, very hard to plan stuff, but still keeping the channel running, so hopefully you're enjoying the videos. It's just that this video's got delayed for a week. There's been the odd week where, in the past, where I haven't done a Friday chat or any chat at all, but I like to do it because it touch bases with yourself, and you might have mental health, you might not, you might have stresses as well, and then you open up and we help each other out. So yeah, so let's do a Saturday walk then, hurrah! Well, it seems a bit quieter at least coming onto the motorway, although there's a little bit of noise. I might film a bit further down instead there. But yeah, I hope you had a good week. We'll come to in a moment the games that we covered in the last week. I won't include the ones that went up today because we're like a day out of sync. But there's quite a good few Spectrum games there, which I'll do a bit of footage on. I've got a few things I want to talk about really. One is the McLaren Formula 1 team, who I support. We've got a 1-2 in Monza, which is absolutely unbelievable. I was ecstatic. Also as well, got a few shout outs if you're a member, which we'll come to a bit later on as well. And there's a sad passing of Sir Clive Sinclair as well, which I probably won't do a full dedication video, not because of disrespect, but more of respect, because sometimes I see those videos, you might see loads and loads there, just sort of a grab for views. That's just my potential opinion. Some will be sincere, some will be insincere, just trying to cash in, as I did with the comedian Sean Locke. So although he's got my greatest respect, I will mention Sir Clive in the video. I won't do an individual video. If I was as big as the BBC, then certainly I would do with millions of views. Because I'm a smaller channel, it might come across as the wrong thing, which I don't want to do. So anyway, let's get Saturday walking. So I hope you're well, hope you've had a good week. As I say, lots and lots of times the channel's all about beating stress. We all have bad times and better times, should we say. Live stream's been going well every Tuesday, been keeping those up quite well despite the time restraints. So the plan is to do one next Tuesday as well. So I'll just go over the videos a little bit as we walk in along here, because it seems to be got a bit of a quiet stretch. Touch wood. Yeah, so on the ZX Spectrum last week we looked at a good couple of a really good batch of games. It was Jason's Gem, which is an early-ish game, a budget game. You must descend your ship through caverns first of all. You get to a certain point, your spaceman gets out, and then it turns into a platformer. It's quite tricky. Got great use of colours in it. And I think I would have been playing this for a very, very long time if I had it back in the day. So it was a good recommendation by Jules, in fact, so a nice one there. Then we played a Frostbite, which you control a rather unique character, like this yellow, wiggly, iggly thing. Time is called Twang. You must rescue your 5 keysers in this unusual platformer, but it works quite well. It's unique. The artwork I saw a lot back in the day, but didn't get a chance to actually play the game. it's good to catch up with it. Also came out on the Commodore Amiga, so it'll be interesting to see how that compares. The 16-bit games quite often aren't as good as the 8-bit, we're a true reflection, so we'll see how that plays as well. So yeah, that's Frostbite and Jason's Gem. The other game we played on, well, it was Homebrew Wednesday, it was Globus, which is a take on Pac-Man, but it does a few extra things. I didn't really get the hang of this game, so it takes a bit of practice. Instead of collecting power pills, you must go from one side of the screen on a maze to get fluid, and then take to the other side. Do that 3 times to fill up the container on the right hand side, and it goes to the next screen. I think it's one you had to own back in the day. As a newbie, I found it a little bit tough, a little bit frustrating. Let's not say it's a bad game. They worked wonders with the music as well on this one. So check out Globus. That is pretty good. And on the Commodore Amiga, it's a top-down race game called Wheel Spin, which isn't too bad. It's trying to be Super Skid Marks, which in my mind is a better game. Quite annoying backfire of the engine, but that might be because I crashed the car a bit too much. There's 4 leagues in there, you get a bit of play. There's an AGA version, that's the Amiga 1200, but I played the standard version, so maybe I won't get in the best out of it. It's okay without being brilliant. On the Mega Drive we played sort of like an adventure game, which I think would be really cool to play this with a guide. It's based Star Trek The Next Generation, Echoes of the Past. You're trying to trace some alien technology which wiped out a previous race. You're in a race against the Romulans, and most of the game features on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise with Picard, Riker, Troy and all the other casts of the show. You're walking to different planets, getting sort of like clues from people, then to track down the alien technology, I presume. At certain points you can beam down your party. You need to protect them because they might get shot or injured. You've got Beverly Crusher in the Medi Bay to help you, I think, as well. So yeah, I liked it. I think, again, as a newbie, you're not going to get the best out of it first of all, but there was enough there. It had the music playing at the start. It's got the original intro to Star Trek The Next Generation, or a graphical realisation of it, and I think there's quite a bit there for Star Trek fans. There's also a Deep Space Nine game, which I presume uses the same engine. We'll probably come to that at some point in the future. And the last game we looked at was on the Super Nintendo, or the SNES, a game I had great fun with on the Commodore Amiga. It's Pinball Dreams. Gives you 4 pinball tables. The view is slightly different to the Amiga one. The Amiga one seems slightly smoother. It has been said that the SNES probably could have upgraded the game a little bit in terms of the colours and the playability. Seems a bit quicker, makes it a little bit awkward, which the game was quite tricky to begin with. It does look like a straight port rather than made specifically for the Super Nintendo. So it was okay, but I think its spiritual home is better on the Amiga. But you know, I would have had a bit of fun out of it. But the Amiga version, for my mind, was a little bit better. I think that's fair to say. I think so. They're the games we looked at last week. As I say, by the time you watch this, you might have seen 2 other games, which I'll cover in next week's video on the ZX Spectrum. Because we're out of sync, folks. We're out of sync. We're not wet though, but we're out. No, if you're out of sync, you're not wet, are you? Because you're not in a sink. Excellent. I think my brain's gone. Mental Health Talk Monday. Don't show this to them. Right, let's go. Looks like they've just they've been round with the lawnmower around here. Lots of heaps of grass. Not one for hay fever sufferers, but I think it's been raining as well, which has dulled it a bit. So if the sun comes out, it's going to make it a lot worse. But yeah, I like to see all the dandelions and stuff, but now it's just been turned to, I don't know, grazing land. There we go. Never mind. Yeah, so not a soul around so far on this walk. I don't want to tempt fate, but I thought, haven't been out on a Saturday before, but I thought, on a walk at least, I thought it'll be packed with people because they haven't got to go to work and stuff. Maybe people are taking advantage of coming out in the week because they're not quite back at work yet or working from home. Maybe that's something to do with it. Or, you know, it might get packed in about half an hour's time or something like that there. But yes, so yeah, very sad news this week that you've probably followed. Sir Clive Sinclair, inventor of the ZX Spectrum, and a few other things as well, but the Spectrum was his best thing. it's going to leave the lasting legacy, died at age 81, I believe. I'm not quite sure what the cause of death is, but 81's quite a good innings, isn't it? I'm hopefully going to get to 100. Who knows? Life is pretty much a random. So yeah, I mean, as I said before, I'm not going to do a full dedication video, although I've got great respect to Sir Clive. Other people will do those videos and they'll do them a whole lot better than me. So mine would just be one in the ether. Also as well, my fear is, it's just impersonal, it's probably misguided, because I'm a smaller channel. It might be seen as a grab for views. You will get, as all of these things, you'll get sensational thumbnails about on various videos. I don't want to be mopped in to that. The channel grows a lot slower than some others because of my way forward, so it might be the wrong way forward, but because of that we built a rather strong community, because it's based on honesty. So it's a lot slower but in growth, but it's a lot stronger. So thank you for watching, thank you people subscribed, and thank you to the members as well. So yes, I mean, Sir Clive's legacy is going to grow on and on and on. I think it's 1982, is it? The ZX Spectrum 48K come out. Before that it was the 16K by Sinclair Research at that time. And yeah, I mean, Sir Clive had other ideas as well, didn't he? The Sinclair C5, which is a bit of a collector's item now. It was his idea to revolutionise electric travel, so he's a bit ahead of his time there, and the technology wasn't quite there. The battery was too heavy for the car. I don't think it lasted very long. Then you had to pedal, and also he was very, very low on the ground, so he lost quite a bit of money on that, I believe. But it's the ZX Spectrum where the action is. Lots of games have been made, still being made today, sort of like 40 years later, almost. And he's also featured in a few games as well. The most recent one we looked at was a homebrew called Flappy Clive. The retro games, there was a C5 trilogy, I think there was 3 games there, and A Day in the Life of Sir Clive, which you might be on a track down as well. We reviewed all those games, so rest in peace, Sir Clive there. And you know, without him I wouldn't be making these videos, because the ZX Spectrum is where I grew up with, and the vast majority of the videos on the channel are ZX Spectrum. I think we might have done over 900 now, something like that. So we do a reviewed catch-up vid. So yeah, I mean, put your comments below what you think of that. It's sad times, but you know, 81, it's not too bad, is it really? I presume he had a good life, but you know, you always want people to live a bit longer. Prince Philip got to 99, and yeah, and then eventually Spectrum was bought by Amstrad, wasn't it? So Alan Sugar, but yeah. Never got to meet Sir Clive, of course. Seemed like a good bloke, a good inventor, and it was back in the time where it was a lot more fun then, before it's got cutthroat today. So you're always going to look at it from a nostalgia point of view. So yeah, thanks to Sir Clive. Thank you. Right, back to the undergrowth again. Haven't been here. When was the last time we went for a walk? About 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's been a bit too long. I presume the red bag is still there. We'll get to the clearing. Hopefully it's not full up with rubbish. It shouldn't be, I don't think. It looks quite nice here. And then we'll have a bit more of a talk. But I'm never out this early. It's nice and fresh, nice fresh air. The woods is like good for the lungs, good for your health there, especially when it's been rainy. You get really fresh air off the leaves. It just feels like life. So if you're feeling a bit depressed, if you can go for a walk, even if it's at the park. If you can get into a wooded area, especially when there's no one about like this, it's lovely, then yeah, highly recommended. Now, an amazing thing has happened last week, sporting wise, I suppose. Now, I've always supported McLaren, the Formula 1 team. Back in, when I first started watching it, I think McLaren were Ayrton Senna and Gerhard Berger. Alan Prost as well was driving the McLaren, and they were great in their red and white cars, very iconic, captured a kid's imagination. Now supporting them forever more. Still remain competitive at the front of the grid. Cars changed colour, looks like silver. Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard was then in the team a bit later on. And then it went a bit, and oh yeah, Lewis Hamilton as well was the protege coming through, and he won. Jenson Button went to the team, and then it started going a bit downhill. McLaren started falling down the grid, and looked like the glory days were over. And before long, they was at the back of the grid, and it's absolutely disastrous how far they had fallen. Now, it's a bit like supporting your favourite football team, and suddenly they're not doing very well, or getting relegated. And it was quite bad And this didn't go on for about a season. It went on forever. Ron Dennis, the chief, had moved down and someone else was in charge. Can't remember the name. I should remember the name, but anyway. And they was trying and not getting back. They experimented with different engines, which were poor, and it was really painful to watch. And this was going on for years and years. Then they got Alonso in, which hopefully was an aim to turn around the fortunes there, with skill of a double world champion. And although they improved slightly, the car was unreliable. The Honda engines at the time they were using were absolutely poor, and there was no progress at all. So I kept with them, but it got to a point you thought, are McLaren ever going to win again? Now, they had Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz for a few seasons, and they were sort of like going up a little bit, but not a huge amount. And then there was the Monza Grand Prix, wasn't there, last week. The cars are now orange, which is McLaren's main colour. Got Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. Lando Norris is from the UK. Ricciardo, Australian-based driver, had great success with Red Bull, won a few races. And Ricciardo had been struggling through the first half of the season to get anywhere near Lando. And then, wow, Monza, McLaren first, McLaren second. A 1-2. The only team to get a 1-2 so far this season. I was absolutely ecstatic. After a sprint race that determined the qualifying positions, but I'm still not sure if I like, but it created this situation. Daniel Ricciardo was second on the grid, was zipped past Verstappen and then went into the lead, and they never got him. But it was quite fortuitous, because I'm not sure, McLaren would have finished high up, but Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen crashed into each other, taking each other out, which I think they will do a lot this season. They've already done it at Silverstone, and we got a McLaren 1-2. I still can't believe it's happened there. So are McLaren back at the top? Well, Monza was a quick track. Verstappen and Hamilton are quicker than the McLarens. They're not going to crash every week, but you know, that's getting a bit dangerous for them. Bottas had penalised in the other Mercedes, had to start from the back of the grid, worked his way up to third place, but then couldn't make any ground. So his car was a lot quicker than McLaren as well. But I've got to take joy from that. Hopefully Ricciardo's confidence has now gone sky high. But a 1-2 from McLaren, I didn't think that happened for a long time. Hopefully we're back in business, but I don't want to get too excited. We'll see what happens the next race, whether they be right down or near the front again. But go McLaren, they're my team. You might not be into Formula 1, you might support a Formula 1 team. I know I speak to a few of you on Twitter, some people McLaren as well. I think there's a few Williams there from back in the days, I suppose. Back when I started watching it, there was Nigel Mansell, Riccardo Patrese, Nelson Piquet, so that's what you've latched on to there. But yes, go McLaren, go. I think the footage is up there somewhere, Ricciardo's reaction as he crossed the line. Really a joy to watch. Okay, right, still no one about. Let's get moving. But you need those joyous occasions, and you sort of like almost there with them. Yes! 2p or not 2p? That is the question. Oh, that sounded a bit rude then. I think that's been left there as a trap. I'm going. It might. You pick that up, and you know, like Predator, some sort of log comes down and hits you in the face. I'm leaving that there. There it is, yippee-dee-doo-dah. Okay, what's going on here? Is this just an open gate? Oh, I've got to climb over the thing again. Ugh. Oh, it does open. Nincompoop. Right, there we go. My feet are getting a little bit wet here. I hope, well, my shoes are getting wet. I hope these are waterproof. Right, next, oh, spider web. Don't get stuck in there. Horison's spider webs. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Why am I filming going over this for? It's just recipe for disaster. Ooh. So I wish you all a very good weekend. It's glorious weather this morning, so people around here, if they're planning a barbecue, they might be in luck. But as usual, a bit of water has gone on my whiteboard here. This is the members bit where I thank all the members that are keeping the channel running. Thank you to subscribers as well. But if you're on the second tier and above on the members, I'll give you a shout out, your name, or anything that you're up to. If you want to find out a bit what the members thing is about, get access to the members section, then click on the join button below this video if you're on a conventional PC, I suppose, and it'll tell you a bit more what that's about. But if you can't afford to do that, never worry, because it's about beating stress there. Helps me out as well, but if I can help you, then that is fine. You just watching the videos is fine. Thank you very much. So, big thank you this time to, let's sit down, I'm getting a bit knackered. I'm a bit old. Well, not that old. You're not old for in three figures, that's what I always say. Okay, so, are you comfortable? Right, so big thank you this time round to GTB Films, thank you. Oh dearie me, it's going to be a memory game for me here, unless I do it back at base. I think I can remember. So Jason Arnold's Terrifying House of Obsession. Sorry if I got that wrong, I think that's right. Check out that YouTube channel as well. Big thank you to David Harakawa, Neil Barrett, Arati, thank you. Malad, there, thank you one. Ozone 1255. This is a memory game for Nicky. Big thank you to Alf Fairweather, Torquemada, thank you. Jason Smith, hope you're doing all well, everyone. Huge thank you to Obed. Thanks, Obed, for upgrading there. Much appreciated there. Hope all is well with you. Nikki S, thank you. Claire Johnson, the amazing What-Ho Snorkers. So keep doing what you're doing, What-Ho. Thank you very much. As I say, it makes a huge difference to me. This, as I say, without you, I'll probably be full-time on the checkout rather than part-time. I'll do the same entirely. So the channel must go on. There's so much more I could potentially do. It's always a bit of a compromise for what I end up with to what I was aiming to do. But we're getting the content up there. Thank you. I'd like a few more bells and whistles if I could do. But thank you. You're making what's possible possible. Huge thank you to John Roby and Jeffrey Searby. Steve Norman as well. Now I always mention Steve Norman, his blog. I don't know if you've been there yet. RETROARCADIA.BLOG picks a different subject each week, at least one subject. This time he's looked at quite a modern set of games, I suppose. It's Resident Evil on the GameCube and other systems as well, and the series in general. Resident Evil is not a game I've sort of like played, funnily enough. I've played Silent Hill and Devil May Cry. I don't know if they're similar back in the day, but Resident Evil is a big one. Got turned into a series of films, didn't it? There. So have a look at Steve's blog there. Always very well written. Quite lengthy, so quite detailed there if you want some retro fun. And also, yeah, got a lot of screenshots there. It's building up quite a good database now of reviews he's done, and he doesn't stick to one subject. He goes all like different systems. So have a look at that. That's RETROARCADIA.BLOG from Steve. Good work, Steve. Like your work. Big thank you to Lemmy Barnett, Steve Q as well, and Phil Hill. Great help from Grey Hulk 2. Thank you. Should be a couple of Commodore 64 games coming fairly shortly in the next couple of weeks there. So thank you. Huge thanks to Chono Baggy and Jason Holmes and Pete James. Thank you there. Okay, let's stand up and get a bit of walking now. I'm getting a bit of wet bum. That's the only problem when you walk early. You got the dew. Oh no, now I've got wet pants. Don't tell anyone. Obviously, don't tell my mental health person. Okay, are you still with me? We're still outside, we're still walking. So, a huge thank you to everyone on the upper tier. Now, this makes a massive difference to me. So, you know, if this ever builds up, then the full-time dream might be there. So, big thank you to Colin Hode. Thank you, sir. I know I speak a lot to you on Twitter as well, every now and again. So, thank you, Colin. Martin R. Always huge thanks to you, Martin. Thank you for your support, watching the live streams and stuff as well. Richard Mitten, hope all is well for you, sir. I wish we could all meet up. That would be good, wouldn't it, at some point? But I'm not sure. We're all in different parts of the world. Huge thanks to Tom. I know you run a channel as well. Sometimes looking at drinks and stuff. I've had a few looks at that, so well done. It's quite amusing. Thank you to Graham Vebke, my friend in Australia. We got Rossi Bossy now. We'll put Rossi's site up there as I always do. Currently working on 3D Pixel Grand Prix, which I do some of the voice work for as well. There's been a series of alpha stages. Have a look at that site there, and maybe follow Rossi on Twitter as well for any updates there. It's really getting good from where it's humble beginnings. It looked good right from the start, but it's really doing the graphics and the way the car handles continuously. So it's going to be a really, really good game, so keep an eye out for that. Oops, change hands. God dearie me. Yeah, keep an eye on that. While you're waiting, if you want to see a demo of, well, an idea of Rossi's work. He's done 2 games previous to this, which you can get for free, which I've reviewed on their channel. A bit simpler than the ones he's working on now, only because the game he's working on now is so good. There's Re-Enduro, a reworking of the Atari 2600 game, which is worth a play for free, so have a look at that. And also Nifty Lifty 2, the sequel to the 80s game Nifty Lifty. So yeah, I'd recommend downloading those 2. If you've got a credential PC, I think it's an Android as well, you could be playing those today as you're waiting for Super Pixel 3D Grand Prix to come out. So do that if you've got some time. And also massive thanks to Jules M. Really nice weather here. I don't know how the sun's coming up on the camera, but no wind at all. Well, yes. Anyway, yes, massive thanks to Jules M. Now, Jules runs a number of sites, a very busy bee. This time I'm going to recommend mygamingmemories.weebly.com. We've shouted her quite a few times. It's mygamingmemories.weebly.com. Well worth a visit, updated quite regularly. Most recent updates include on the SNES, I think, Toy Story, which is by Psygnosis, not a game I'd heard of by them. I'm more familiar with their sort of like arty stuff on the Commodore Amiga, like the Shadow of the Beast series and such. So have a look at that, Toy Story by Psygnosis. There's Wizard of Oz as well, which includes a chainsaw stage. Don't remember that in the movie, unless I haven't watched it for a while. Thomas the Tank Engine, and also she covers a lot of Spectrum stuff. Most recently she's done a blog about the rather interesting shooter called Light Force, which we have reviewed. It's got its colour masking is quite good, but for me it feels like you're, instead of flying a spaceship, you're flying a gigantic sewing machine. So that's interesting there. I think she's tagged my review on her blog as well, so have a look at that, mygamingmemories.weebly.com. Well done, Jules, well done to everyone, and thank you. Do you know, I think a gnat bite might have just got me on the nose. That's going to be good on the checkouts next week, and also for future blogs. Let's hope it didn't. It seemed to be hovering there and it hit me on the nose. But anyway, so I hope you've been liking the channel. Bit interesting this week, isn't it? There's a Saturday walk rather than a Friday walk, but we got out there and we done it. If I've got home and managed to edit this down. Now, quite surprised there's no one around at all, not one individual person, just like being a Saturday morning, which tells me really that people walk their dogs in the week, well, I can hear a dog now, and not on the Saturday. So enjoy your week, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and yeah, thank you once again. Do check out that members bit if you haven't already, but thank you to the existing members. There's a couple of videos that went up this morning. There'll be a couple tomorrow as well, as they normally are, and fingers crossed for the live stream on Tuesday, which should be okay, but I still haven't been given my hours for next week, so if I can't do it Tuesday, it will be another week, because I won't be working till 9 every day of the week, surely. Okay, so next time, take great care of yourself. We all work together to beat stress, and yeah, a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye, E.
And Jenkin.